He is a youth and social activist as well as a communications specialist. Appointed as the youngest independent senator in Trinidad and Tobago, and he holds the international title of the Vice Chairperson Policy, Advocacy and Projects in the Commonwealth Youth Council. He's a motivational speaker and facilitator with the Canadian-based organization We Schools, and tutors communications at UWI, from which he holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Communication Studies with minor in Theatre Arts. He is now a postgraduate student. Nikoli has served in many capacities at UWI, including the Guild of Students. He also holds an executive post at the Trinidad and Tobago Youth Ambassador and is a member of the Youth Advocacy Group to the United Nations Population Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Independent Senator Nikoli Edwards.
Crime and violence is something that affects us all in this country. You can be how high up in class, in financial background, in education, but it doesn't matter. Crime and violence in this country affects us all, and especially young people. Because the fact is that young people are the greatest perpetrators of crime and violence in this country, as well as the #1 victim of crime and violence in this country. And we have to begin to ask ourselves, what are we expecting from one of the powers that may be, and to ourselves as citizens of this country? Because we all have a role and a function to play in the reduction of crime in our society. We must take ownership and responsibility for many of the things that happen around us, because truth be told, we see things taking place every single day, but what do? Turn a blind eye to it. We say that's not our business. We look away. But you have to understand that it's things like that that allow crime and violence to permeate our society and to continue to build. So we have to take personal responsibility. There are two approaches to crime in our society. One, the proactive approach, and two, the reactive approach. The proactive approach simply means you putting things in place to ensure that crime is not an issue in the future. The reactive approach, obviously, is that when we do have instances of crime, what do we do to ensure that those who have committed crimes are held accountable, and that the victims of crime, they are well taken care of? Because you have to understand that there is a victim-offender relationship, and this is something that I've learned through mediation. You have to understand it from that point of view, because the fact is that when you simply lock away prisoners, when you put them behind bars, and they come out after that with no sort of rehabilitation, with no sort of personal responsibility, understanding that what they've done has affected someone's life, the life of a community, the life of a country. When they don't understand that, what do? They come right back out and continue with that dangerous lifestyle, and it poses a threat to all of us in society. The recidivism rate in this country is beyond 50%, and what that means is that for every 2 persons that enter the criminal justice system, 1 is more than likely to return. So we have repeat offenders. When you look at the statistics, and I looked at the judiciary in terms of a 6-year average, 117,000 cases, criminal matters are filed in our courts every single year. Of those 117,000 cases, about 70,000 or so are actually disposed of or dealt with in that same year. You have about 30,000 cases being carried over into the following year. And then we want to ask ourselves, why do we have a backlog? It's not simply about increasing the amount of magistrates. It's about ensuring that, yes, we do have the proper apparatus to ensure that criminals are held, but there's a process that the judiciary is responsible for. But then you have to ask yourself, does the judiciary have enough support? Of the budget that the judiciary receives every single year, In the 80th percentile, those funds go towards recurrent expenses. So simple things like salaries, paying rent, the upkeep of vehicles and buildings and spaces. So you have less than about 20% actually being invested into capital projects. So building of new ports and things of that nature. When you look at the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, I'm seeing that it's in the 90th percentile. So that means that there is hardly any kind of money to really invest in new projects. So we as a community, as a society, we're calling for CCTV cameras, we're calling for body cameras and police officers, we're calling for them to update their technology and whatnot, but where are they getting the money from? Yeah? So the government has a responsibility in terms of this allocation, but there simply needs to be value for money as well. You cannot be pumping money into institutions that are failing because it amounts to nothing. You have so many people right now in this country who will, and it's sad to say, but who will turn to crime and violence in this country because of the state of affairs. This government, and I mix no words in saying this, has not adequately addressed the concerns of citizens. And we continue to live day in, day out, wondering who is going to be the next victim. Is it going to be my brother or my sister, my mother, my father, the neighbor across the road? And that messes with the psyche of our people. This country is hurting. It's hurting terribly, each and every one of us. How many of you all are tuned off from news? Yeah? Anytime you hear news coming on, what else showing on the other channel? Because we understand that on the top of the headlines, teenager killed, mother found, body disposed of. And this is our reality. This isn't a TV show. It's not a play, it's not a movie. This is life in Trinidad and Tobago. And we never thought that we would reach this point, but you know what? That day has come. I want to say as well that our education system plays a very integral role in terms of the people that our society churns out. Because when you have an education system that is hell-bent on simple academics and nothing more, what can you expect of the students who are coming out there? They have no social skills. They are not able to cope with the issues that face us in society because they don't know mediation skills. They don't know that, you know what, sometimes you really need to turn the other cheek. They don't know how to respect elders because all we learn in school is maths and English and how to do this, that and the other, some things that we'll never use in life. What about the understanding of your role as a citizen in this country? What about understanding that, you know what, you don't have to fill one of those traditional roles of being a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer. If you want to be an artist, if you want to even open up a doubles business because you want to be an entrepreneur, we should be encouraging those persons to do those things, do what they love in society. Family life is broken down. And you know what? I'm not sure if you all understand, but this recession has done a lot more damage to this country than many people can understand. Because it's not simply in dollars and cents. It's about the social experience that we're going through, where persons are losing their jobs, breadwinners. They have to go and face their families and tell them, well, I don't know where the next cent is coming from. That's why we're seeing suicide rates rising. That's why we're seeing domestic violence rising, and so many issues. So what are the recommendations going forward? One, we need a conscious society. We need people to stop simply talking at the rum shops and on the corners. We need them to come out and mobilize. This exercise was a good start to things that should come in the future. I too was one of those persons who simply said a march amongst the nothing and what we're going and protest for because the government is not taking us on. But you know what? This is a community here. And if you could look out for your brother and your sister, that says something. If you could have a conversation with your neighbor, because you know why? All the time you're locked up in your house, and they come out today, and they see someone who we haven't seen in a long time, and they share that bond with them. That sparks something. So continue with this kind of effort, and we will achieve a lot. We need to demand more from our politicians. We need to say this is what we want. We need to stop waiting for them to present plans and proposals to the country. We need to draft, as the Penal Debe Foundation has said it will do, policy papers, present it to our members of parliament. When last has a member of parliament come to you and said, what is your position? How do you feel about X legislation or X bill? Because they are there to represent our views and concerns, not theirs. Just because they went through law school and this and have their degrees and stuff does not make them better at dealing with things than you. You have the experience of the everyday in this country. A lot of the times when they get into positions of power, they simply see the inside of the SUV and then inside of the halls of parliament and then get back into their vehicle and go home. What about you who work every single day in this country, have to get up whatever hour in the morning, travel to work if so be it, right? Have to feed a family, have to go and organize in children's schools and all these things, have to deal with the issues in your job place. You are real people with real issues and your voice needs to be heard. So moving forward, I think that especially those recommendations, I don't think that I could have articulated any better the recommendations of the Patriots. So that is something that I will personally support, see how I can get involved in. But you as well, ladies and gentlemen, neighbors, friends, mobilize, get involved. Your voice needs to be heard. And with that, I thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure to hear a young person in Trinidad and Tobago as passionate and committed to the cause of Trinidad and Tobago as that. Please put your hands together one more time for Nikoli Edwards.